The standard I chose for this activity was being able to examine ways by which citizens may effectively voice opinions, monitor government, and bring about change in government. For this activity, I decided to select an image of Martin Luther King Jr. I chose this image because I wanted to see what Seth already knew about him and to see if he knew what he did for our country's history. I chose questions that had Seth think about historical aspects in the image, and I also chose questions that made him think about how the photographer chose to portray this image. The learning goal of this activity was to showcase how influential Martin Luther King Jr. was during his time period, as well as how much segregation in the civil rights movement affected our country. This activity, I'm going to have you look at the picture I have in front of you, and you're going to tell me some things that stick out to you.
I obviously know that is Martin Luther King Jr. There's a large crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's an American flag, so that obviously means that he's in the U.S.
Yeah.
And he's speaking on a microphone. There's policemen guarding the front, so no one tries to attack him while during his speech.
What do you think of when you look at this image? What kind of things come to mind?
Well,
I think that this activity was really fun, but what I didn't do was give enough feedback to Seth because I wasn't really sure of what to say when he responded to me. Next time I do an activity like this, I would like to give better feedback.
Treat the blacks fairly and the same as they treat other whites.
And what time period do you think this image was taken during?
Like in the 1900s, since it's black and white.
And then is there anything that you've learned already in school about maybe this image that you can think of that you already know about?
Led a boycott for like going to restaurants and stuff, and going on the buses. What happened like for Rosa Parks?
From this image that you looked at, I want you to make your own image with the crayons over here, and I want you to think of anything that stands out from the image that you could make something out of, or you can just choose any part of this picture.
Can I just stick people?
Yeah.
Okay.
However you'd like to do it. Another thing I noticed that I messed up on was the camera angle, since there wasn't any way to see Seth's drawing. A question I would have liked to ask that I didn't was what he knows about the I Have a Dream speech, because all I really responded with was yeah to his answer, and then went on to the next question. I should have also asked more about Rosa Parks, since he mentioned her name in one of his responses. A teaching opportunity that slipped past me was I could have talked about what was exactly going on during this time period. So what's your favorite thing about this?
Well, he's giving a speech without no guns, and nobody wants guns, and so there won't be any shootings or deaths.
Yeah.
So that's basically my favorite part. And this is my picture of Barack Obama saying no more guns.
For this activity, I asked Seth to draw someone that he viewed as a leader, including things in his image that showed why he or she is a good leader. For this activity, I probably would have chosen a different image just because it was black and white. If it had been in color, I could have possibly created a broader discussion about the artist's choice for those colors and what colors pop out most in the image. I could have definitely done a better job with the camera angling, and I could have also been more responsive and asked more probing questions, since I just jumped to each question right after Seth would answer. A few problems that could arise from this activity are making the child confused about the topic that the image is showing, making the child self-conscious of his or her artwork, and making the child feel overwhelmed from all the questions being asked to them. I think that from this activity, a child could become more aware of art in his or her everyday life.